Straight ahead on 12 News, a Champlin woman accused of stealing tens of thousands of dollars from her children's school. Then, yes, we've had enough of the snow, but here's the silver lining. It's helping area lakes. But first, the Boston Manhunt seen through the eyes of local law enforcement.
You know, as a local agency, we feel bad and we pray for the officers out in Boston.
12 News starts right now. Buses stopped, trains halted, and a suburb in lockdown while the entire Boston metropolitan area came to a virtual standstill.
Yeah, authorities made the extraordinary order to catch two Boston Marathon bombing suspects, one of whom was shot dead by police. Suspects are two brothers, ages 26 and 19, who immigrated to this country from the small Russian Republic of Dagestan. The brothers are accused of shooting an MIT police officer and critically injuring another during the search. Brother on the left was killed late Thursday in a getaway attempt that included hurling explosives at police. And the population of Maple Grove is about twice the size of Watertown, Massachusetts, the Boston suburb at the center of today's manhunt.
Today, reporter Sonia Goins met with the Maple Grove Police Department about handling a situation like the one in Boston.
Watertown, Massachusetts was on high alert as SWAT teams went door to door looking for a suspected terrorist.
This one isn't obviously a normal case.
Captain Keith Turlington couldn't go into great details for safety reasons, but he did say his department is trained to deal with high-risk situations.
In something like this, it's a tactical operation, and as a police department, we train with several of the other tactical teams in neighboring jurisdictions every year.
About 20 neighborhood blocks were on lockdown in Watertown. Captain Turlington says there's a good reason for doing this.
I think what they have done is created a perimeter that has allowed the officers to operate in an environment that's safe.
Maple Grove has an armored vehicle similar to the ones being used in Watertown.
It allows an officer and a tactical team to drive right up to a building in a safe manner. And you can't do that by walking.
Turlington also raises concerns about photos and videos being posted on social media sites of the scene. He says those images could actually hurt law enforcement officers who are going after the suspect.
It is an officer safety issue for us. Even in a small style scenario, when we're shown outside of a building or a residence and where we actually are, it takes away our element of surprise.
Turlington says even though these officers are well armed, he fears for their safety.
As a local agency, we feel bad and we pray for the officers out in Boston and for the slain officers and those that got hurt at the marathon.
Now, authorities say the suspect killed late Thursday had homemade explosives on him. They also believe the second suspect is armed with bombs. Alex?
All right, thanks, Sonia. A Brooklyn Center man is now charged with leading police on a high-speed chase and crashing into a Brooklyn Park home. Calvin Green is accused of stealing a truck at a Brooklyn Park car dealership. Police say that theft led to a chase that ended in a nearby neighborhood. Police say Green lost control of the vehicle and crashed into this home near the intersection of Bethia and Idaho Avenue North. The criminal complaint says Green and a woman got out of the truck and ran. Police arrested the two suspects hiding out in a nearby garage.
A Crystal man faces federal child pornography charges. Prosecutors say 59-year-old James Darling had 8,000 pornographic images of minors on his computer. If convicted, he could spend 10 to 20 years in federal prison. According to court records, he had a previous conviction of criminal sexual conduct in 1988.
A Champlin woman is accused of stealing thousands of dollars from her children's school while she served as treasurer of the PTO. 31-year-old Melissa O'Brien is charged with felony theft by swindle for allegedly stealing around $55,000 from the parent-teacher organization at Oxbow Creek Elementary in Champlin.
It's sad because it impacts negatively kids and folks who didn't have a lot of money who are contributing to trying to help their school, give a better experience for kids. I mean, that's sad, and it's eminently preventable.
According to the criminal complaint, O'Brien used the funds to pay for personal expenses and wrote checks to herself, her husband, and her mother. Members of the Oxbow Creek Elementary PTO discovered the theft in December when a check bounced for insufficient funds. The PTO president tells us they had raised $98,000 last fall to fund special school programs and activities for the kids. Now they have just a couple $1,000s left. Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman says it's a sad bad case that could have been prevented with a few precautions.
If you have money coming in, make sure that you have a second person who has to sign on checks over, say, $500.
O'Brien's husband, Dustin O'Brien, is also accused of forging PTO checks. The Hennepin County Attorney says the couple is facing jail time and he wants them to pay full restitution.
Latest snowstorm brought more challenges to commuters. A private bus contracted by the Met Council slid off the road and into some trees in Brooklyn Park during the height of the storm on Thursday afternoon. The accident happened near County Road 81 and West Broadway. There were no serious injuries, but 2 of the 3 passengers on board went to the hospital to be checked out. Well, thanks to our snowy April, one of the snowiest in history, we're also above average now when it comes to the total amount of snowfall this season.
As of Friday morning, the latest snowstorm dropped 7.2 inches at the airport, but here in the northwest suburbs, the totals were even higher, nearly 10 inches in Maple Grove, according to the National Weather Service. The snow keeps piling up, and our total now for the season is just over 63 inches. That's nearly 10 more inches of snow than a normal winter, and nothing about this month or this season has been normal.
While we may be tired of the snow, as Delane Cleveland reports, it's actually good news for area lakes.
Just sledding, enjoying the new snow.
A fresh snowfall blanketing the Twin Cities terrain has become an all too familiar sight.
Yeah, I was just thinking it looks more like Christmas. Way too late in the season with this. So.
The reality is that it's the 19th of April.
I think last year we were golfing this time, so it was nice. And I remember, so I think in the 70s or 80s, wasn't it?
But there's nothing about this weather that screams golf, which is why Troy Anderson of Brooklyn Park took his kids out sledding.
Just make the most of it. We live in Minnesota, so.
That's one way to look at it.
All of this moisture we just got hasn't melted yet.
Joe Hardy has a slightly different view.
And so this lake's going to come up even higher.
He runs a bait and boat shop on Medicine Lake, and he has a pile of docks stacked up on the shore.
Got a heck of a lot of boats that are ready to come out, and all this snow in the yard is going to make it tough to get them out.
That's the bad news.
Oh boy, I'm not going to get very far.
The good news is the snow's effect on water levels.
Well, last fall, this wasn't even ankle deep right here. Now it's right at my knee. So it's probably come up about 18 inches.
Which means the water level on Medicine Lake has returned to normal.
This is a phenomenal spring, there's no doubt about it.
Phenomenal because when a lake's water level drops low, as has been the case with Medicine Lake, safety becomes an issue for boating enthusiasts.
There's no question about it. We're definitely making progress on putting the hydrologic drought behind us.
And with higher water levels, it makes it easier for boaters to navigate.
It's sitting still.
However,
that tells you it's at least 12 to 16 inches of ice out there for sure.
When people will actually be able to put those boats in the water is another question.
You have to kind of be like a farmer. Whatever you're dealt, you get through it.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
That's about right. Another big question is whether Minnesota's lakes will be ready for the May 11th fishing opener. Experts say we'll need a combination of warm weather and rainfall for the lakes to be ice-free. And that's got to be cold on Joe to be out there waiting around. That's got to be cold water. Well, coming up, a local community college takes their chances with a Broadway hit.
We'll preview North Hennepin's version of Avenue Q. And later in sports, the Maple Grove baseball team doesn't let a snowstorm stop their season opener.
But first, it is your AccuWeather forecast.
It's a show that's funny, furry, and at times offensive.
Well, the Broadway hit Avenue Q comes to North Hennepin Community College, and as Renee Bonneau explains, it's like taking a stroll down the wrong side of Sesame Street.
From the opening number, North Hennepin Community College's production of Avenue Q reminds us of the TV shows we grew up with. With playful tunes tied to an important lesson.
We don't always make the right decisions. And so the play talks about what it's like to make those decisions and what the consequences are and how we just create connections with other people in our lives.
That's Kate Monster. She lives in our building.
Hi.
And it's played out by humans and monsters alike. But there is a catch.
Don't let the colorful puppets and the cheerful tunes fool you. This musical is not for children.
No one under 16 will be admitted without a parent.
It sucks to be me. No. It sucks to be me. No.
You have to come to this show with an open mind. You have to be expecting them to talk about a really wide range of things.
No need to get defensive.
Avenue Q is rated R for vulgar language, strong sexual content, and for just being downright inappropriate.
Everyone's a little bit racist sometimes.
While these puppets and cartoons don't look like the Broadway version, everything else stays true to the original.
Sets, the costumes, the music, the singing, the lighting, everything to make the show as close to what the Broadway experience is like. That's what we're going for.
It sucks to be me.
So if you dare to wander down Avenue Q, leave your kids at home, but be sure to bring your sense of humor.
It's really funny. It's really out there, and it's really modern.
Welcome to Avenue Q.
For Weekend Showcase, I'm Renee Bonneau.
Avenue Q runs this weekend and next at North Hennepin Community College. Tickets are $10 for adults, senior students, and all matinee tickets are $7. Go to 12.tv for showtimes and other information. Very interesting. Coming up, a Maple Grove band that hopes to strike it big on the local music scene.
But first, there will be plenty of new faces on the field for the Hopkins Softball team this spring. John Jacobson profiles the team when we come back.
A big snowstorm, but baseball did go on, of course, not outdoors.
No, not outdoors. Who knows when it'll be outdoors,
Yeah.
but
Maybe never.
Thank goodness for the Dome. The Metrodome was much maligned as a Major League Baseball stadium, but it's been a valuable indoor place to play for local high school and college teams. A snowstorm didn't stop Maple Grove and Anoka from meeting in a Northwest Suburban Conference game Thursday afternoon. This is what it looked like outside the Metrodome, but inside, perfect baseball weather. Bottom of the first inning, bases loaded. Anoka's Ryan Sutterer with a shot just fair down the left field line. Ryan Rumpka and Jason Brumba score. It's 2-0 Tornadoes. To the bottom of the second, Brumba's fly ball gets past the Maple Grove left fielder and rolls all the way to the wall. Brent Golovich scores for a 3-1 lead on the triple by Brumba. In the bottom of the sixth, Anoka threatening again with a runner on second, but Tyler Field gets the strikeout for Maple Grove, ending the frame. Top of the seventh, last chance for the Crimson, but Kyle Fleming works a 1-2-3 inning on the mound. Anoka wins this one 3-1, spoiling Maple Grove's opener. There will be quite a few new faces on the field for the Hopkins softball team this spring. That starts with a new head coach, although he's not new to the program. Former assistant Mark Peterson takes over for longtime coach Ann Campbell, who is now the athletic director at Grand Rapids High School. Since Peterson's been a big part of the program, the transition hasn't been too tough, but it is different.
Yeah, it's been a big change because AC has been here for so long, but we all know Mark and we like him a lot. He's a really great coach and we all respect him a lot because he is just really wise and knowledgeable, knows a lot about the sport.
To have the opportunity to come into a program with a rich tradition and some excellence and success in the past, you know, it's going to be challenging and daunting, but actually it's going to be a lot of fun too.
The Royals graduated 7 starters from last season's team that went 13-10 and finished second in the Lake Conference. 2 regulars are back, but there's some young talent here too. Sophomore Lauren Fiegler moves over from first base to become the primary pitcher. Catcher Aaron O'Neill and outfielder Matty Bellato are also captains. It's been a strong program, and despite the changes, the Royals could surprise.
We are a new team, but I'm expecting us to win some good games. Like, we should win. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we're quick. We know that we're fast, and we know that that's how we're going to have to score some runs. We've got really strong pitching, and I think our defense is going to get there get there by the end of the year too.
After a string of postponements, the Royals are scheduled to play at Minnetonka next Wednesday. Every 2 years, the State High School League takes a look at section assignments at all activities and makes adjustments based on enrollment and schools changing classes. Here's a look at a few of the changes affecting local teams in various sports beginning next school year. 2 years after moving up to Class 5A, Tutino Grace is bumping up to play Class 6A football this fall. The Eagles are placed in Section 5 with Champlin Park, Maple Grove, Osseo, Anoka, Blaine, Centennial, and Coon Rapids. Latino Grace replaces Brainerd in this section. Champlin Park is a defending section champion in 5AA boys soccer. Big change here is that Prairie Seeds Academy moves up to Class AA. The Lycans replace Centennial in this section, which also includes Maple Grove, Osseo, and Park Center. Section 5 4A boys basketball will be loaded again next winter. Local teams Champlin Park, Cooper, Maple Grove, Osseo, and Park Center will be joined by Wayzata in this section. The Trojans replace Coon Rapids, and Eden Prairie takes Wayzata's spot in Section 6. In girls basketball, both Cooper and Wayzata move away from defending three-time defending state champion Hopkins in Section 6. They move into Section 5. Champlin Park, Maple Grove, and Osseo are the other local teams still in Section 5. And to look at your favorite sport and team to see what's changed for next year, go to the State High School League website at mshsl.org. And that is a look at sports.
All right, thanks, John. Still ahead of Maple Grove Band's big moments.
And what inspired them to write their first single?
Here's a nice side on a day when we're dealing with so much snow. This is what spring, of course, should look like. In fact, you can help bring on the flowers. The Robbinsdale Beautification Committee hopes to hang flower baskets along West Broadway again this year, but they could use some help. The committee needs donations and volunteers to help maintain the flowers this summer. That's, of course, if the warmer temperatures and the summer ever gets here. It is a very big day for a local band in Maple Grove.
A rock group called Cephas is launching its first single today and hoping for the best.
I'm actually kind of nervous. I'm kind of excited to see what people think, but I'm also kind of nervous to see how it works out.
The song is called Where I Left Off. It's about making connections and not letting friendships fade away. The band has already put that feeling into practice with a visit to Haiti last summer and another plan for this year.
Loving on all the kids and all the people we come across is really the main goal. We relieve people with earthquake-related stuff as well, but loving and learning are the two main goals on the trip I'm going on.
Group members of Cephas say they are happy to do a positive song about maintaining good relationships, and they hope it will be well accepted. It is out today on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play, and we'll hear more from the guys on our weekend show starting at 4 on Saturday. So good luck to them. I know they've been working for a couple of years and decided to go pro and put this out there and see how it goes.
That's a big deal. And
yeah.
get to tour with it, too.
That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.